Speaking of Fantano though, he rated the new Yeat Life tape or Life album or Life EP, whatever it is. And I wanted to see, now he gave it actually a pretty good rating for a Fantano rating. A 4 is actually pretty solid, given that he gave Ken Carson's a 0 and he gave Destroy Lonely's what, a 1 or something. It's like, damn, if you're giving Yeat a 4, that means it must be a pretty good project. For any of the new school rappers, a 4 is pretty good. What did Uzi do? Was Uzi like a 4 or 6 or something like that? It was one of those numbers for Red and White. I know that for a fact. Let's check it out.
Hi everyone, In the Fantano here, the
You can just tell by that he didn't like it.
Internet's busiest music nerd, and it's time for a review of this new Yeat project, Life. This is a new record from one of the hottest rappers out of LA right now, Yeat, who I talked about just recently in a few capacities. My review of his 2 Alive record that dropped earlier this year. Then there was also that Channel 5 documentary shot around a Chicago music festival where he was a featured artist. So yeah, I've had some thoughts on Yeat, and I was hoping to hear something in this new project that would maybe help my feelings on his music, on his sound.
Now, prior, I believe he said that he was a Cardi clone, which is fair to the naked listener, somebody who's not in this space. You know, he's listening to, I don't even think he's really a rapper, hip hop enthusiast. Like, he listens to a whole broad spectrum of things. So unless you're like deep into, not underground, but like this lane, you're generally not going to enjoy this type of music, right?
The trend that it exists within kind of evolve. Off the bat, Life here is a noticeably shorter project than 2 Alive, especially the expanded edition of the record, though still 12 tracks and 34 minutes is nothing to sneeze at. And with my initial listen here, it's pretty clear that Yeat with this record is just trying to strike while the iron is hot, give fans more of what they are demanding, basically more of the same in terms of what he's been dishing out up till this point. Lots of free.
I think it sounded the same again to the regular, I mean, yeah, to the casual listener. Like, it definitely is Yeat beats, but if you listen to Yeat, it sounded different, if that makes sense. Like, he slowed down a couple of the songs. It wasn't just like synths, and also he switched up like the drums or something. It's like a round, I don't even know how to describe it. It sounds like it's like the drum is going out and in real quickly. Pause.
Freeform, slurred, zonked out verses with a little auto-tune on them and no real sense of direction, flowing endlessly over simple, repetitive beats, occasionally with a psychedelic flair, like in the case of tracks on this thing like Come On and Talk, both of which I enjoy the production.
Talk is amazing. I keep listening to that song and I'm just like flabbergasted. Like, it goes so hard. It's a good gym song. Just gets you hyped.
On quite a bit. It should be pretty clear to fans and haters alike at this point when it comes to Yeat that bars are not really the appeal, the draw of his music. Not that I think Yeat is a particularly bad lyricist or writer, it's just not really the focus, especially considering his vocals are often slurred and muttered.
Let's be real now. Yes, lyrics are important, but they're less important than flow and sound. Nobody gives a fuck what you saying if you sound like a dweeb.
To the point where they are nearly unintelligible. Essentially, Yeat's music is mostly about the vibe, which I get. 2021's Up To Me, for example,
the vibe
has vibe in spades, especially on the more aggressive cuts from the LP. Although I thought 2 Alive's mushier and trippier production wasn't exactly helped by the album's runtime that spanned over an hour. It's just that the lack of structure.
Facts. Can we all just make albums that are 12 to 15 tracks? I don't give a fuck about the first week's sales. Like, we'll discount it for you and we'll like account for that. Okay, just I can't listen at 12 a.m. on Friday mornings. Make it a Saturday morning so I don't have to work in the morning. That'll be fine if you want to drop a 20-track album, but goddamn, we cannot listen to 2 hours, especially if like a whole nother person drops an album. It's not fair.
Incoherent writing doesn't really play out all that well in the long term. I mean, 20 songs or more that mostly suffer from the same one-dimensionality, yeah, it's going to be a pretty boring listen, which is shockingly also the case for Life, which has very little in the way of life pumping through it. I was hoping that because this project was shorter that maybe it would be punchier, but yeah, that was not the case. I mean, it does start off pretty strong with the track Flawless featuring Lil Uzi Vert. Uzi and the synthy distorted beat all strike up quite a bit of chemistry on this one. It's a really intense cut, but the energy difference between this track and every other one on this record is like night and day. Yeat instantly sounds more comatose as soon as he starts hitting us with bars on the following Up Off X, and it just gets worse from there as the production on this project gets slower and more sleep-inducing. Like with the track What It Feel Like, which features some very drab, steady hi-hat, snare, and synth bass loops. There are some very soft lead melodies in the mix as well that kind of hit, but there's not really much else about the song that sticks with me. Got It All is also a very moody piece of spaced out trap, but there aren't any flows or standout melodies to kind of guide it. Can't Stop It does shake things up a little bit.
All right, let's just get to the rating.
Melody coming out of it. I guess things on this project do pick up a bit in the second half though. The track Talk is, yes, very repetitive and desperately needs some more structure, but the lumbering bassy through much of the song, effects of violence.
Bruh, I don't know how people like critique music like this. It's just to describe songs, it's like, do you feel it or not? You just sound like, does it sound good? Because music is so subjective that it's hard to even hear what he's saying completely. Like, I felt like the second half was slowed down a bit, especially with the Killing Them and Holy One. Best songs, Crank, Talk, System though, for sure. Maybe Come On, Out the Way. Those songs were good.
Violence and drug use. However, there's not much of a flow, pace, or melody to this track to get this message across, so I think it's probably gonna fall on deaf ears. But yeah, that's kind of this new Yeat project in a nutshell. Once again, I think Yeat has a very recognizable sound, delivery, and style, especially when I think it comes to a lot of this music coming out in this rate.
I think what a lot of people also don't give Yeat credit about, and I was listening to his project in the gym today, the different flows he uses. Like, you can say that anybody could get on the mic and sound like they're on drugs and just mumble into a microphone, but he actually has really, I'm not gonna say sophisticated, but like very surprising flows for what he sounds like. Like, if you really listen, he actually cares about like what he's doing. It's not just some mumble rap shit. I don't know how to describe it, but of course, from the outside looking in, it just sounds like, you know? But he be using like melodies and shit within the flows, and like, you just have to listen.
Age style these days, I would certainly put what Yeat is doing over anything coming out via Playboi Carti's Opium label thus far right now. But yeah, recognizable style, but really fails to go the distance due to a lack of substance, variation, structure, direction, coherence, melodic appeal. It's a vibe that I think goes over very well on certain tracks in small doses, but as an overall project, completely and utterly falls flat, does not go the distance. Feeling a strong 3 to a light 4 on this one. Transition, have you given this record a listen? Did you love it?
God damn. I'm not gonna say it's the best project, so don't think that I'm just dick riding or defending it, okay? I still think Up To Me was his best project because it just had so many songs in there that I keep going back to. Whereas Two Alive, I don't really think that I'm going back to a lot of those. Talk will forever be a hit though, let's be real. That shit, I'm telling you, is amazing. Two Alive, I'm trying to go back and see which ones. Yeah, it just, I feel like, and don't get me wrong here, I feel like Two Alive is Yeat's X for Ken Carson. It was much better, don't get me wrong, but it was kind of like a very concentrated project of the typical sound of Yeat. Two Alive was, like the heavy synths and distortion. Whereas Ken Carson did a similar thing on X, where it was like, okay, let's take Project X. What do we do there? We got like the rage beats. Let's just hyper concentrate this into some orange juice, squeeze it all out and rap on it. And it just, you know, it didn't fit all too well. Although Two Alive again was much better. Whereas Life, I think that he dialed it back a little bit. It wasn't as ragey. Had Yeat beats for sure. Voice crack, as we discussed. But I think Life was better than that. What did he rate Two Alive? I gotta look that up. He rated it a light 4. Okay, so he rated Two Alive and Life the same. At least he's consistent with it. Again, light 4, solid for a new rapper. I think that No Stylist was better than Two Alive. And that again got a 1. Life was way better. That's clear. Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying.